I never expected to be humiliated at my own sister's engagement party. The lights were warm. The smiles were practiced. And my sister's laugh carried easily as she told a small crowd that I was just admin at a courthouse. People chuckled. Someone clinked a glass. My chest burned, but I stayed quiet, like I always did. Then her fiancé looked at me differently. Not amused. Curious. He studied my face for a moment like he'd seen it somewhere before. So, he asked, what do you actually do? I didn't explain. I didn't defend myself. I said one word. And what happened next wasn't loud or dramatic, but it changed how my family saw me forever. My name is Verity. For as long as I can remember, my family has loved neat labels. The kind you can say quickly at dinner. The kind that don't invite follow-up questions. My sister Evelyn was always the impressive one, ambitious, charismatic, the kind of person who made rooms orbit around her. And me? I was the quiet one, the reliable one, the one who worked at the courthouse. That phrase followed me everywhere. Holidays, birthdays, phone calls from relatives I barely knew. So you're still doing admin work? They'd ask, smiling like they were being kind. I'd nod. Yeah, still there. And the conversation would move on. What they didn't see was how carefully I'd learned to stay invisible around them. Not because I was ashamed, but because every time I tried to explain, their eyes glazed over. My accomplishments made people uncomfortable. Especially Evelyn. So I softened my words. Rounded the edges. Let them believe the smaller version of me because it kept the peace. At home the pattern never changed. Evelyn spoke. Everyone leaned in. When I spoke, forks scraped plates. Someone reached for more wine. It wasn't cruelty. It was habit. Only one person ever looked at me differently, my cousin Lily. She noticed the late nights. The constant calls. The way I carried myself. Sometimes she'd squeeze my hand under the table. Like a reminder. You're not invisible everywhere. By the time Evelyn's engagement party arrived, I already knew how the night would go. I'd arrive early. Help quietly. Smile when introduced. Leave before anyone noticed. I didn't expect respect. I didn't expect curiosity. What I didn't expect was a question that wouldn't let the lie survive another minute. The party was perfect: string lights, white flowers, a banner with their names stretched high like it was watching us. I arrived early, of course. My mom handed me napkins without looking up. By the time guests arrived, I'd refilled ice twice. Then Evelyn appeared. Ring sparkling, confidence effortless. People gathered instantly. Daniel followed her, calm and observant. He listened more than he spoke. Evelyn waved me over. This is my sister Verity, she said brightly. She works at the courthouse. Just admin. She laughed. Someone else laughed too. I felt the familiar heat rise in my chest, but Daniel didn't laugh. He watched me. Really watched me. At dinner, Evelyn raised her glass. Some people argue important cases, she said, nodding at Daniel. And some people answer phones. Then she smiled at me. Right, Verity? That's when Daniel turned fully toward me. Wait, he said. What exactly do you do at the courthouse? The table went still. I felt years of silence press down on me. The instinct to soften it, to disappear, rose up automatically. Then something else followed. Calm. Clear. I realized I hadn't been protecting them by staying quiet. I'd been protecting the version of me they preferred. I set my glass down. I'm a judge. The word landed softly, and everything shifted. No gasps. No shouting. Just silence. My mother's face drained of color. My father froze mid-motion. Evelyn laughed sharply. Very funny. Daniel didn't laugh. Judge, he repeated slowly. Then his eyes widened. Judge Verity Cole, he said. Downtown courthouse. You presided over my corporate case last year. No one breathed. You were fair, he continued. Direct. You listened. That's why I remember. My father finally spoke. You're a judge since when? 3 years. You said you were assisting someone, my mother whispered. I was, I replied. At the beginning. No one ever asked after that. The realization hit them slowly, painfully. Evelyn snapped. You let everyone believe you were admin. Who does that? I didn't lie, I said evenly. I stopped correcting you. Her face flushed. You did this to embarrass me. You mocked me, I replied. I answered a question. Daniel looked at her. You never let her speak. That broke something. The attention shifted. The orbit changed. Evelyn stood abruptly. This was my night. And you chose to make me the joke, I said calmly. For the first time she had no response. She left. Daniel followed later, conflicted but respectful. Afterward, my mother asked quietly, Why didn't you tell us? Because every time I tried, I said, you looked away. No one argued. The next morning I felt relief, not triumph. Like I'd finally set down a weight I didn't need to carry anymore. A few days later, Evelyn came to my door without makeup, without armor. I was scared, she admitted, of being ordinary. I was never competing, I said. We didn't fix everything, but something shifted. I used to think staying quiet was kindness. I was wrong. Silence doesn't protect anyone. It just teaches people how small they're allowed to make you. You don't owe anyone a smaller version of yourself to keep the peace. If this resonated with you, if you've ever hidden your growth so others felt comfortable, you're not alone. You deserve to be seen.